Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Let's start our video with a story about a customer who learned the hard way the difference between warranty and insurance. But before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button, smash the like if you enjoy the content, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a juicy story. No insurance? No problem. A costly misunderstanding. Firstly, this happened to my brother, who delights in sharing this story, who worked as a lead mechanic for one of the leading vehicle brands in the country. So one day, this guy brings his family-sized, premium, sedan, purchased only a few months back, into the dealership, complaining that the car drives funny and wants it repaired under warranty. So the service team is engaged, and they take the vehicle for a drive to get an idea of what's happening and find anything over 50 kilometers per hour, approximately 30 miles per hour, the car becomes almost impossible to steer and keep under control. So they bring the car back, pop it up on the hoist, and have a look at the underside of the vehicle. As per my brother's words, it looked like someone smashed the whole bottom of the car up a foot and let the crumpled mess fall back into place. In short, it was a bloody mess. And unsurprisingly, the steering was one of the many badly affected components. Old mate, OM, is waiting on the service customer area, so my brother approached him, gives him a brief rundown of the damage, and asks him if he's had some sort of an accident. OM states, "Yeah, I visited a customer on his farm and hit a few rocks getting to and from his property." Then the fun starts. Bro. Okay, well look mate, this is something you'll need to contact your insurance company about. OM. No, I have a warranty. You need to repair my car. Bro. I'm sorry, mate, but warranty doesn't cover accidental damage. You'll need to call your insurance company and make a claim. OM. No, I don't need insurance. I have a warranty. You're obligated to repair my car. Bro. Your warranty does not cover this type of damage. This is an insurance claim. Then the customer drops a bombshell as several staff have wandered over to listen in on the conversation. OM. I don't have insurance because I don't need it. I have a warranty. At this, jaws drop, and my brother just looks at this guy in disbelief. Bro, you didn't take out insurance when you bought the car? OM, no. Like I said, I don't need it since the car comes with a warranty. Look, I'm sick of effing going around in circles with you. You need to fix my car. From here, the dealer principal is called in since this bloke's just not understanding, and he's getting louder, angry, and starting to become abusive since the dealership won't repair his car. It gets to the point that the cops are called and they've had enough and tell him to leave the premises, and he refuses, so OM sits his sorry butt down on the low fence at the front of the dealership to take this up with the police since they'll sort this out. So after a while, the police turn up. One officer heads to my brother and the dealer principal. The other goes and talks to the OM at the front of the dealership. My brother explains to the officer the damage to the vehicle, what's happened, leaving them to be called, and the cop is just stunned when he's told this guy has no insurance. The officer goes, "Right, we'll sort this out," and heads over to his colleague. So OM is gesticulating wildly as he's explaining to the other officer what's going on. When the first officer joins them, the first officer basically gives him the "this is how it is" talk, and the guy's still waving his arms around, trying to convince the police otherwise, but they're both standing there, arms crossed, shaking their heads, basically saying, "Mate, you're wrong, and you've effed up." This goes on for a while, and then it finally dawns on OM. My brother said you could physically see the guy deflate when he realized he's trashed a $70,000 car, less than 6 months old, and he has to foot the bill for repairs himself. The guy got in his car, drove off, and my brother never saw him again. I don't think he'll be making that mistake again. Warranties are for if something breaks from our doings. Insurance is for something you did. So simple, yet so hard for this dude to comprehend. And our second story. I was on the floor. So for some context, I have severe anemia that requires I get infusions regularly. I pass out regularly from any activities from cooking to walking, otherwise I look like a normal, pale, healthy adult. Recently I was shopping at that one store with blue shirts that sells it all. I did happen to be wearing a blue shirt at the time, but it was A, more turquoise, less navy, and B, a cami top with spaghetti straps because it was 100 degrees outside. My anemia is bad right now, but this was a necessary trip because kids have to eat. I'm trying to take it slow. There were no scooters when I entered, which I hate taking, but it beats ending up on the floor, so I was trying to be extra careful. I came upon a younger woman with a small child. She was trying to reach up to grab something on a high shelf, and me being taller, I was easily able to grab the item. So I did so for her and continued on my way. About 3 aisles over, I felt the fishbowl coming on. My head starts to swim, and everything feels like I'm underwater. There was nowhere to sit besides the floor, and it was sit or fall, so I dropped onto the floor cross-legged and put my head on my lap, waiting for the worst to pass. I hear someone clearing their throat nearby and kind of wave my hand in their direction to signal I'm okay, waiting for the world to refocus. The throat clearing sound happens again and again. I finally lift my head to see this petite lady with white hair staring at me. I croak out that I'm fine, just give me a moment, but I was mistaken in thinking her intention was to check on my welfare. It's extremely unprofessional to sit on the job. I need some help. She was holding a cane and started smacking the ground with each word. I looked up at her, unsure if my head was still fuzzy or she just really said what she said. At this point, some other customers and an employee had started to approach to check on me. I told her politely that I was shopping and not an employee, but she pointed her cane at me, cut me off mid-sentence, and told me she was sick of the younger generation always making excuses. My eyes rolled so far back in my head, I'm surprised I didn't pass out. The actual employee leaned down and asked me if I needed medical assistance. I explained to him that I had a medical condition, that there had been no electric scooters, but I would manage, I just needed a moment. He got on a walkie, and I heard him say something about the scooter, but the lady started again, so I missed what was being said exactly. She looked at him and demanded he get my boss, as she wanted to give him an earful of my behavior issues. At this point, I think she was the only oblivious person in the aisle, and we had an audience of like 10. 2 other people had leaned down to ask if I wanted to get up or stay put, did I need water, etc. The employee tells the lady that a manager is on his way, but that I don't work here. She starts ranting again, something about people lying for each other. At this point, I'm embarrassed by the crowd and just ready to leave. Manager comes out and she starts ranting at this guy, tells him I was personal shopping for another customer, and when she approached me, I sat down on the floor like an entitled, spoiled brat. She then launches into a rant about how they had no electric scooters when she came in and how personal shoppers would be a benefit to her. Now, I didn't have any glorious moment of telling her off. It isn't really my way, but I did get to enjoy her face when an electric cart was driven up by an employee and she got to see me ride off on it. The manager still explaining I had a medical condition, and she began yelling about my youth and entitlement and being a bad employee. She probably still thinks I work there. I seriously hate people who think being young makes someone somehow immune to health issues or injuries. And our last story. Nightmare condo board, power trips, fraud accusations, and missing money. I hear complaints all the time about condominium owners associations, COAs, and homeowners associations, HOAs, being awful. But when you're on a condo board and really think you're doing the best job you possibly can, you try to give others a little grace. I definitely cannot give the current condo board grace. Not only did they ignore every single thing in our condo bylaws about having a budget in December, releasing financial docs each April, meeting minutes after each board meeting, didn't pay federal and state taxes, and it took almost a year for them to confirm we had insurance, but 2 of the 5 are also blocking me from renting my limited common element parking space. The president and her loudmouthed husband own 20-plus units and are forever threatening their own tenants anytime they need repairs. I expect them to be the slum landlords they've been this entire time, and I didn't vote for either of them being on the condo board once I realized who I was dealing with. I'm still more baffled by the audacity of the treasurer accusing me of fraud for wanting to rent my limited common element parking space while 6 of the 10 spaces are rented by landlords in our building. This includes the slum landlord president and 1 other condo board member who rents her parking space from another owner who doesn't drive. The treasurer blatantly lied and said that non-residents can't and have never rented our spaces. He moved in 2020, so how does he know the history of the building? I had to take him to small claims court and prove to a judge that a non-resident has rented a parking space. Then he switched to worrying about the safety of the building and claiming I could be renting to a criminal or a rapist. But approximately 11 of our 21 units are resided in by tenants who have never had a criminal background check. I ran down every single one of the tenants' names, and he didn't know not one person and had to admit in court that he never asked for any vetting info. Now, who's going to do more damage? The tenant who has keys to the lobby, the mail area, the basement, the storage area, the plumbing, and the laundry room? Or the non-resident who parks his car and then leaves without keys to access anything else? This board wanted me to do a criminal background check and give them my parking tenant's lease, give them proof of insurance, and let them have the right of first refusal on who I rented my parking space, while none of the other 6 landlords are going through this vetting process. Killer part is the vote was 4 out of 5 in support of me renting, even with the problematic president. And that one condo board treasurer still refused to release a parking pass, called the towing company to make sure they didn't release the pass to me, and got his unlicensed property manager friend involved. I refused to release the lease because I wouldn't be held to a standard that the rest of the condominium wouldn't be held up to. I lost my case in court because I didn't turn in the lease to the judge for the same reasons mentioned above. I blame that 100% on me because I knew that was an element of a broken contract lawsuit. But even after all that, the entire condo board quit after they were stuck paying legal fees because of this one jerk on the condo board going out of his way to power trip, and the president went missing and didn't show up for court. Now the towing company still refuses to give me a pass. We don't even have a condo board anymore. Random owners are just paying bills because the condo board is dismantled after that nightmare treasurer and the unlicensed property manager ran off with thousands of dollars. Now I'm writing every single politician, state-run organization, and evaluating my next steps. If you're interested in buying a condominium unit, be super careful about who you let move in. This condo board treasurer moved in 2020 without anyone knowing he even bought his unit. Now he's acting like he owns the whole building. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.